There's the infamous one, of course, where I actually got smacked with the ball off the bat of
What? I
Rafael
didn't.
Devers. Yeah, yeah. Oh, how'd you not hear about this? This was last season.
I
This was
didn't.
massive. I mean, I thought I had to go in
Okay.
the IL. Actually, I was down for probably about 3.5, 4 weeks, but I still powered through and showed up to work every single day because I post. That's what we do. And
What?
yeah, this was in Cleveland last year, late last year in Cleveland, and on at Progressive Field in Cleveland, we're on the first base side. So Devers is a lefty, so his back is to us actually. And that whole thing I told you about, if it's a right-handed hitter, then you got to watch out on your right-hand side, or if it's a lefty, you kind of got to watch out from this direction. So if the person is facing you, you got to watch out for a foul ball potentially hitting you. But Devers, in a non-traditional way, because he's a non-traditional player, he does things that players can't do. He actually has his back turned. So traditionally, you're usually safe if you're looking at the batter and their back is turned to you. But Devers,
Right.
because he can turn on anything, he just like turned completely and like made contact with the baseball in that direction to me at first base, and it came in so hot. I mean, we got things to to quantify these things now. We can measure the speed in which a
Right.
baseball leaves the bat. So Statcast said this was 109 miles per hour, 109.3 to be completely exact, off the bat, and maybe 50 feet between us. So you think it's really not losing much steam. This ball did bounce once, so maybe lost a few MPHs, but it came in so fast. All I can do was I saw him turn at me, the ball's coming, and I literally only had time to be like, "Ugh," and react. So I ducked down like that, and the ball caught me square in the ribs right here, like right above my
Oh,
pectoral muscle. And I mean, it knocked the wind out of me. So our director Ben Johnston and OB was on the call. Will Middlebrooks was there as well. And Will, he's always, he treats me like a little brother, even though I'm older than he is. He's like, "Oh man, toughen up, you're okay," like whatever. And I'm like, "Dude, first off, I haven't even like said I'm okay. I could seriously be hurt," which I wasn't, but I
yeah.
was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, just dust it off, throw some dirt on it, whatever." And then Ben, our director, he was in the truck. He's like, "Give us a thumbs up, or like tell us you're okay." So I give a thumbs up because it knocked the wind out of me. I literally could not breathe. So I give a thumbs up, and he's like, "No, we need a verbal." He's telling me this in my ear. We wear these earpieces. So he's telling me I need a
Yeah.
verbal. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm okay, guys. Thanks." And I come back up, pop up on camera, and they're showing me. And I'm literally hurt here. I'm really hurt. Like I feel like crying. But because the cameras are rolling, I have to really be tough. So it was just one of those things where it's shocking. Like you brace for impact, but you don't really know how much it's going to hurt until it actually hits you. So that got me. So then, like, I actually was okay. I was a little bit in shock, kind of, I guess, because I
Yeah.
was like, that hurt, but also, like, I survived it. So I'm good. And I, like, it's hurting, but the adrenaline was rushing. Like, you feel so much
Yeah.
adrenaline. And that began to wear off. And that's when I was like, oh, this is actually really hurting. So then one of our great producers back at Nesson, supervising producer Denny Ayat, he calls the clubhouse. And I don't know how he got the number, by the way. I don't know how he got the number to the clubhouse at Progressive
Seriously.
Field in Cleveland. But he calls the clubhouse. He gets on with the medical. He's like, "You got to go check on our guy." So the trainers literally come out. They're like, "We just got called from Nesson saying, did you get hit or something?" Because they were obviously working on players, people who are rehabbing back in the clubhouse, getting work during the game because obviously pregame, the guys who are actually playing are getting their work. So that was their time. So one of the trainers comes out, a guy we call Dolo, Anthony Sarandolo, and he's checking on me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got hit with a baseball. I think I'm good." He's like, "No, they say we got to check you out." So in the middle of the game, it's like the sixth inning, I go in the back. He checks me out, and then I take off my shirt and everything. Like I'm in my suit. I have to
Yeah. Yeah.
dethrow from the top up. He's like, "Take it all off." So I'm taking off my jacket, my suit. I'm in there half naked in the Red Sox clubhouse, and like the PR staff is back there for some reason during the game. I don't know. So like the trainers are back there, the clubhouse manager. They're all looking at me like, "Dude, what the hell is going on right now?" I'm like, "Oh, I got pelted by a ball or whatever." So he's checking me out, and immediately, like, it was already starting to like have some centralized bruising, like it was bruising already. He's like, so he's touching it, and I'm like, "Oh, that hurts, man! Like, stop!" So he's poking and prodding. He's like, "Oh, it's definitely a contusion or whatever." He's working around it, and he gives me like this patch. He's like, "Just wear this. This will kind of subdue some of the swelling, but it's gonna hurt. I don't know if it's broken. Like, we don't have an X-ray machine, but we'll take it day by day. So I get patched up, go back out there, all good. Wake up. So then the game's over, and I know this is a very long story. Long story short, but game's over. We go back to the hotel, and we're traveling to New York after that because this was a getaway day. This is a getaway night. Traveling to New York. So I'm like, now I'm really starting to feel like I'm in pain. Like, I can't breathe that great. It's hurting. It's tough. So I get back to the hotel. Like, I had an ice pack and everything. Get back to the hotel, go to sleep that night. I could not sleep because my rib was hurting so bad. It felt like I was in a heavyweight fight, like Tyson punched me. And the worst part about it, like, I go up to Devers afterwards, who hit me, and I'm like, "Hey man, now I know what it's like. You know what I mean? To be Bean. Like, this is I'm one of the guys now." And he was like, "No. Like, you like now you see." He was like, "Now you see." He had no sympathy for me whatsoever. So get to New York. We're playing the Yankees the next day, and now I'm in real pain. Like, I wake up in the morning hurt. So now, like, they're checking in with me. Our old boss, Howard Zolkowitz, is like, "How you doing?" I'm like, I'm actually hurting pretty bad. I probably should get this checked out." So then he has connections in New York, and he sets it up with the Yankees staff that I'm going to go see their doctor, their team doctor.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah. So it's just like this whole big thing. I don't know if I've ever even told this story in this much great depth, but next day we go to the Yankees, and I'm still like, I got a job to do. Like, I'm on the job, like, I'm working, I'm getting pregame stuff and like trying to, do my thing, but also in pain at the same time. So the game's getting ready to start. Is like, what time is good for you? I'm like, let's do it like the second inning, because now the Yankees, they've got their injured players getting seen by the doctor using the X-ray machine, whatever. And one of the guys who was on the IL was Aaron Judge at the time. So I'm now they've got me, and I'm back in the halls of Yankee Stadium. I go there, knock on the door, and they're like, "Oh, we were waiting for you. We're expecting you. It's the Yankees team doctor, Dr. Troth, I think is his name."
Okay.
And very nice guy. So it's like I'm at the doctor's office, like taking me through the whole nine, checking my vitals, all that stuff, checks my ribs. He's like, "Oh, let me see." So he does the whole deal, touching it, seeing everything. And I'm like, "Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts." He's like, "Okay, well, we can't see if it's broken or anything, but, you're not having trouble breathing that much aside from the centralized pain." I'm like, "No." He's like, "Is it like, how's your breathing?" I'm like, "It seems okay. It's just like any deep breath would hurt a little bit." He's like, "All right, so no blood's coming up, nothing like that." Because he's like, "You could have a punctured lung." Like, that was the concern. Like, if you got a broken rib or something and go into your lungs or something. So then I see him. I go into the X-ray machine. He says, "You got to wait. We got somebody getting X-rayed." So I'm sitting in the hallway having a conversation with him or whatever. So I'm like, "Oh, somebody getting X-rayed. I wonder who this could be." And he's trying to be like really discreet. Him, the athletic trainer, is there as well. And then one of the X-ray technicians. So I'm sitting there having conversations with him, and then all of a sudden the door opens, and it's Aaron Judge, and he's like 6'8", right? So his like head is like almost hitting the door. So Aaron Judge comes out, and I've like, I've gotten to know him a little bit over the years, but not really like that. But I did a game when I did a freelance game one time, a national TV game. I got a chance to interview him. So, that's one time we had a real like conversation and got, some background on each other. So then he sees me, he comes out, he's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" I'm like, "What's going on, Aaron? How you doing?" He's like, "I heard you got smoked." And I'm like, "Man, dude, news travels fast." He's like, "Who got you?" I'm like, "Devers, man." He's like, "Oh, you got to watch out for that," because everybody knows he's got exceptional bat speed, elite bat speed. So he's like, "You got to watch out for that." So I'm like, geez, the whole league knows that I got smoked by a foul ball. And it just reminded me that, these games are on in clubhouses around the league. So they see a lot of people who are on air. But he was like, "Oh, you got to stay, you got to be aware of that thing." And I was like, "How are you doing?" Because he had just injured his foot by running into the wall at Dodger Stadium. They had just gone over there. So he like broke his toe or something. But I was like, this is definitely going to go in my autobiography one day, just like down at the Yankee Stadium, and I run into Aaron Judge, and he knew what happened. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I get the X-ray. They determined that I didn't have a broken rib, but they couldn't really tell, because you can't really tell. It could be like microfractures, the doctor says, but he just like prescribed me some Advil, whatever, and he sent me on my way, but it hurt for like another 4 weeks after that. But the like moral of the story, I guess,
breathing in or just or moving, like everything.
Yeah, just breathing in, movement. So breathing in was like a week and a half, like deep breaths. Movement definitely lasted probably like 3.5 weeks, and then like sensitive to touch, it was like a month until that felt good. So like having my kids jump on me and stuff was like, oh, not great.